This is a video I wish I could have watched 15 years ago. In fact, I wish I could have watched this video when I was in my 30s, because this is all about how to change, even transform your life, to find a new way forward, to find it that's right for you, and how to go after it.
Helping you find your new way forward to the best years of your life. This is a New Way Forward podcast with your host, Paul Long.
15 years ago, I knew I needed to make a major life transformation. And it took me years of research and work and thinking and awareness to figure out not only what that was, but to know that it was the right thing for me. And I'm talking about in all respects. Because I had made a mistake back in 1989 when I thought the news business was going to hell. And all I thought about is, what can I do and what can I succeed at? I fell into the trap that almost everybody falls into, that if they actually do it, and most people never do it, but if they actually do it, it's very superficial, like mine was. I was just like, okay, what can I succeed at and make a good living at? And enjoy some and everything else. And I did. I succeeded at it, but it was never right for me. And the problem was I only looked at that and I didn't look at my whole life. I didn't consider everything and set goals and determine what an ideal life was right for me. So that's what this video is about. This is defining a new way forward and how to go after it. And it's not just from my experience, because what did I do? I learned from other people, both directly and indirectly, who had succeeded at doing it. Because here's the other thing. I mentioned that it's too superficial, but here's the other problem with it. Let's take, for example, when I started this change, I started researching it, and everything that I found, I already kind of knew about. And again, it's superficial, but that doesn't mean it's not worth doing. So, make that list of what you like and what you don't like, what you want and what you need, and what you're good at and what you're not good at. Do it, but don't do it at the beginning. I guess you could, but here's the point I'm wanting to make. What I realized when I was doing those lists was that I was using the same thinking, the same mindset, the same assumptions, presumptions, stereotypes, prejudices, self-limitations that got me into this place in the first place. And that's what happens with so many people. I need to change my life, but you're using the same thinking, the same false beliefs, false assumptions, presumptions, and stereotypes that are going to disable you from finding the thing that's right for you. So a quote came to me, and I just recently posted a video about this, because to me, this is the first thing you got to do, is watch that video. And it's the link to it is in the description or down below. But what popped in my mind was a quote I had heard from a Nobel Prize winning physicist who discovered quantum theory and was in Einstein's brain trust, Max Planck. And here it is. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Well, you're wanting a change. You're wanting a change from your existing life, or some major part of it, or major parts of it. You got to change the way you look at things. You got to change the way you look at yourself and at life and the world. And I'm like, that's it. I got to take a step back and look at things. So that leads to the next mega point, is I need awareness. I need up-to-date awareness in terms of what's going on in the world and in life, and what other people are doing to bring the awareness to make choices, to filter out or let in ideas, possibilities, needs, wants, and desires. And I need internal awareness as well, to really identify what it is that I want and need, as well as where are my false beliefs, self-limiting beliefs that are in my way, so I can change those and get them the hell out of my way. What do I really value in life? Because when I made that decision back in 1989 to pursue the path that I took, I didn't take into account what do I really value in life. And that path was lacking those important things to me. But then later, years ago, I re-identified it. So again, this is good for people of all ages. The younger you get it, the better your life is going to be. But also, too, the older you are, it's not only not too late, it's one of the best possible times because you know so much more about yourself and life and the world. So one of the first things I did to gain my awareness is I started doing my research. Okay, I am getting older. I can see retirement age coming up here. What's the deal with retirement these days? Well, this was the first of a multitude of times that because I really looked into it, what I discovered was, in some cases, the complete opposite of what I assumed, presumed, and stereotyped right now. Because, I had growing up and taught that retirement was, the golden door. You've earned it. You've reached retirement. Now you can rest and relax and do whatever you want. It's nirvana. It's bliss. And I learned that the modern trend, the mega trend, is that more and more people who go into retirement have a year or two of the retirement honeymoon, and then it's the retirement nightmare. Alcoholism, drug abuse, divorce, depression, because people have lost a lack of relevance and purpose and fulfillment and have no self-identity. Most of us are going to lose our self-identity that we've had, such as being in our profession, but they didn't develop a new self-identity. I'm like, okay, I didn't really think that was right for me anyway. Now I know. I have the awareness. Now let's get some awareness on what other people are doing. And again, you can plug this in your own life, era, situation, and things of that sort. This is just essential. So I started looking at what was happening with other people. And another mega trend was that people approaching or in retirement years, whatever, people who are older, whatever that means, 45, 50 and above, were reimagining, reconsidering, reinvigorating. They were redesigning their lives. They were doing this. They were stepping back and saying, what do I really want and need in life? And how do I figure out what those things are and really identify them and have the confidence to know, that's it. Yep, that's right. Because sometimes we can make a decision and it's like, I hope it's the right decision. This is to go, I know it's the right decision. People were redesigning, reimagining their lives. They were keeping working in new kind of employment structures. So many of them were becoming solopreneurs and entrepreneurs and gig workers. Kaufman Index a few years ago came out with a survey results that showed that in the United States, the number of startups, boomers were outpacing millennials by a 2-to-1 margin. Double the number of startups and a higher rate of success. By the way, Gen Xers, who are now reaching this phase of life that I'm in, they lead in all categories. But people were saying, wait a minute, if I take moderately good care of myself and I live with purpose and fulfillment and happiness, and I have a good community of friends and family, I can live healthy, active, and relevant into my 90s. I didn't think that. I thought I hit 65, I'm starting to decline. No, you live with those things. You take moderately good care of yourself, healthy, active, relevant into your 90s. Our kid's 100. Awareness. I could go on and on and on and on and on. But you see, you get going, you start discovering these things, and you start realizing the reality for yourself and what's going on in the world and in life for others. So all of a sudden, it gave me a completely different view, and then it was time to start getting internal awareness. What do I really want? What do I really like? What do I really need? Now, here I have to say that what I'm going to share with you is something I only came up with about a year ago. I wish I'd had it 15 years ago. But there's something called a life wheel, a wheel of life, excuse me. And I had never heard of it before. And, here it is. It's it's a circle with 8 different pizza slices in it, each one a different part of your life. And then the concentric circles are, rank your life from 0 to 10 as to where you think it is now. Now, that's a great thing to do. It's great to do an inventory, not the inventory. But then I got the idea. And boy, I wish I'd had this. But I have it for you. Again, a link down below to not only watch a video, but to download one for free. And when you download it, make several copies because you're going to probably want to keep working it. So what I thought is like, okay, what if you use a wheel of life, and I call it a life wheel, a little less pretentious. Just say, okay, if I want a 10 in health, if I want a 10 in fun, if I want a 10 in relevance and meaning and purpose, whatever, you can change what I put in there for categories. You can put in your own. If I want to be a 10, what does that look like? What does that feel like? What is that like? Look what you're doing. You're actually thinking this stuff through. Most people never ever do this. The vast majority, I'm going to say 97% of people never do this kind of stuff. And they end up either not doing it or with bad results or mediocre. You're actually envisioning what does that look like? You're defining it. It's also giving your why. When you're like, well, why am I working out? Well, I'm supposed to. I want to be healthy. Well, why do you want to be healthy? Well, I want to be healthy because I don't want to be sick. Why do you not want to be sick? Because I want to be able to do anything that I want to do. Why do you want to be able to do anything you want to do? I want to live life and I want to be there for my kids. You see, knowing your why becomes a motivation, a natural motivation to go to the damn gym and to, not eat a 20-ounce steak every night. Okay. So it's like you've identified what it is. Then step 3 is to say, well, what do I need to do to get there? What are the steps I need to take? Whether they're significant steps or the way I turned my health around was baby steps. Every day I would do one little thing that I hadn't been doing to make myself healthy. And all of a sudden, I kept a lot of those habits and they became habits. And just like the metaphor of a baby, I started walking more and I started running and it grew. I took baby steps and I took big steps. But the point is, what have we done? Awareness about the world and the opportunities and what other people are doing and about yourself. And now you've gone from looking at life through a toilet paper tube to your mind's blown wide open. You've created the foundation. You've got the knowledge, information, and perspective, that you need. So then you can start figuring it out. But I'm going to go back here because I almost regret those words because it just starts happening. Yes, you can put in a concerted effort, and I'm going to give you some to-dos here in just a minute. But really what's happening here is that, have you ever heard about the power of intention? This is not some woo-woo thing. This is something that spiritual and thought leaders have been talking about for 5,000 years. You've done it. Things that you have attained or overcome or achieved came from the power of intention. Of course, the trick is, and if it's not out yet, I've got a video on it because I call it one of the 5 powers for a great life, is being a master of it. But here's my point. Whether or not there's a spiritual or metaphysical component to it, I leave that to you. I believe there is. It's aligning with the universe, even if you want to call it that. But it works neurologically because when you really start thinking about this stuff, you're creating new neural pathways. That's neuroplasticity. Think of those as a hard drive in your brain. This is a computer analogy here that's very accurate. So, and that's coming front of mind because you're thinking about it so much. Well, front of mind is your prefrontal cortex, which is like the Intel processor in your brain. And it's going, hey, alert, this is important. This is front of mind. We got to really start paying attention to this. So that kicks in your operating system, which is your reticular activating system that starts tying it all together. And so you've probably noticed before when you've been really thinking about something, dealing with something, all of a sudden you're thinking about it without trying to think about it, or you start noticing things that you wouldn't have noticed otherwise, or somebody's talking to you about something and it has nothing to do with what you're working on and yet it gives you that idea, or you just wake up at 2 a.m. with the idea, whatever. That's your brain conspiring with you to achieve what it is you want, because you're defining what it is that you want in a broad sense, and then all of a sudden you're doing the things to do what you want to do. And the other really important point, when I said earlier that no matter what you and your circumstances, it's going to naturally fall in line with you and what you're capable of. And you're only going to be capable of things that you really, 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 truly want to have. So I've already given you the things that you need to do. You need to step back. You need to realize this is going to take some time and effort. You need to have the intention that you're going to bring new or renewed awareness to life and the world and yourself here today. And you're going to know that it's going to take some time. You're going to make some missteps. You're going to have some detours, but that's part of the process. I'll even say that for a lot of us, it's hard. It's a lot of hard work. And sometimes, on the personal awareness, you got to go places, old false beliefs. Where did that belief that I'm not good enough come from? I am good enough. Changing those beliefs. Sometimes that's hard to go there. But it's going to be harder if you don't do it. Short-term pain, long-term gain. If both are going to be hard, choose the hard that's got a return on investment. It changed my life for the better versus I never changed my life. I feel horrible about myself and I'm living the daily drip, drip, drip water torture of a life I'm miserable with. And I'm going to die with regret that I never went after it. Choose your hard. Seek the awareness. Start researching things. What are other people doing? Just let your mind flow. Just start checking things out. You're getting that brain power going for you. Think, explore, research, talk to other people. Awareness about the world and yourself. Then a really good thing, as human beings, we're wired against change. It's an old defensive mechanism, too long to explain. But we're also resistant to change, and some people never make this effort that I'm talking to you about because they're scared. It's the unknown. It's the unknown, and I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. I've given you where to start. What if I fail? Am I going to look foolish? Other people are going to scoff at me. Yeah, well, that's their problem because they don't have the courage that you have to do it. But one of the things to change is to start changing in little ways, just little insidious little habits. Some people say, start brushing with your left hand. I say, have a morning routine if you don't already. That doesn't involve anyone else. That doesn't involve electronics or social media or the news. And here's some of the things that you can do. First of all, drink 18 ounces of water. It's going to boost your brain. You lost that much while you were sleeping. Again, stay away from electronics, except for the one exception I'll come up with. Go for a brisk walk, get out in the sun. That light is going to activate all kinds of things in your well-being. Meditate, journal, read, do yoga. For years, I did yoga every morning along with the meditation and the hydration. And that's when I would do electronics. I'd be listening to podcasts or things on YouTube from people talking about these whole range of subjects that I'm talking to you about. I was learning. So a good morning routine. Do the life wheel to do an assessment of where you are, see where you want it to be in each category, change the categories if you want to, identify what that looks like. What does that 10 look like? And then consider, how am I going to get there? Like, if there are 8 of them, take 8 days and you're going to take 15 minutes each morning with one of them to identify what it looks like and the steps to get there. And then keep it an open-ended list because you're going to change it. And then once you get to that point-ish, it's all very vague. You're going to know when the timing's right to kind of codify and collate everything. Again, there's a link to a video I did, and this was one of the best things that really helped me and put me over the top, is I wrote a thank you note from my 95-year-old self to my current self. What it was me thinking, okay, when I hit 95, what am I going to be grateful for, not only then, but for the life that we've led from today until then. And so the thank you note is my 95-year-old self saying, Paul, me, thank you for doing these things, because this is what our life has looked like. That's really the cool part, because that's where I've got to really start manifesting it into something. I can't be specific. Oh, you took this job. Oh, you started this project. Oh, you invested in this stock on this date. You can't do that. And you don't want to. You want that general thing. This is helping your brain congeal it, codify it, mold it, and make it into something that you really want to go after. And by the way, I've written like 5 of them since I first did it. And those are the really good starting points. I'll also add, and it's not a shameless plug, follow me, on YouTube, on Substack, on social media, because there's so much more of this. And also too, by the way, you'll find what I found, a whole lot of great life hacks and just ways to have a better life. I just recently did a video on the power of gratitude. And that it is a power. It's not just being grateful and thankful and things of that sort. No, when you really do it, it lifts your self-esteem and it helps you identify what you really value in life. And you cannot be unhappy when you're being grateful. Stuff like that. So start following me. The bottom line is this. I said it at the beginning. Irrespective of your age, who you are, or your circumstances, there is a new way forward that is right for you, a new way forward that is ideal and fits you and what you want and need and desire and deserve and are entitled to in life. It's freaking there. I mean, imagine that birthday gift sitting on the table, the day before your birthday that you really, really want and you can't wait to open, but you never open it. And that's what it is. People never open this gift of discovering and pursuing the life that they want and that they deserve. But by sticking through this for 22 minutes and 55 seconds or so, you actually have no excuses now. You're aware that there is a way and how to get started. And man, once you get started, you can say, yeah, it's going to take a while. And man, the first day, my life was better. The first day I felt great about myself. The first day I was excited. I've had other people come to my website and stuff like that, and they said it was like I was looking at the world and life through a toilet paper tube, and boom, I instantly saw there are better options, better possibilities, and the chance for me to have a new way forward that's right for me. It's there for you too. Your life depends on you doing it.
Learn more ways to enhance your life and discover a new way forward that's perfect for you by watching these videos or any others on my channel. Oh, and be sure to subscribe.